I'm speaking with Joshua R. Mosley and David Kates, who are the composers behind Mass Effect Paragon Lost, which is an animated feature that sees Freddie Prinze Jr. reprise his role as James Vega from Mass Effect 3 in this prequel storyline for his character. Thanks so much for talking with me today, guys.
It's our pleasure. Great to be here with you.
Definitely.
So, I guess to start off, how did this project come to be, and how did the two of you get involved with it?
It was like 2 years ago. I contacted Chris Mageas, one of the producers on the film, and we just chatted back and forth over the course of a few months, and basically got a phone call from the other producer, April Bennett, about this project, and just basically asked if I was interested, and got the phone call from my agent, and was really excited about it, and then linked up with David. David and I have been talking, I don't know, like a month prior to finding that out, just kind of on emails, and we were fans of each other's work, and then David came onto the project as well.
Yeah, it was actually kind of an interesting way that we met because at first we were connecting through LinkedIn and listening to each other's work and really digging what each other was doing, and we actually had no idea that we shared the same agent.
Right, that's right.
So it was really a curious thing, and then eventually I had found out that there was the possibility that I'd be collaborating with Josh on this. And it was really kind of the perfect follow-up because I had done the Mass Effect 1 and 2.
Right.
So it was exciting to come onto it, but it was particularly exciting to the idea of working with Josh because he's such a great composer to begin with, and
Thanks.
And our ideas and our sensibilities seem to.
Yeah, definitely.
Really just mesh really well with one another.
Yeah, totally. And that definitely comes through in the final product. And we were definitely on the same page with most everything.
I agree.
Right. Now, David, you just mentioned you worked on Mass Effect 1 and 2. What was it like to return to the soundscape of this universe in a completely different medium and a different way of storytelling?
Well, it was an exciting opportunity to take what we had done in the games and develop it in a way that would be more cinematic.
Right.
I think that the games, as expansive as they are in their quality, and I think what we did particularly well. Look, Mass Effect 1 is. God, Mass Effect 1 is such a classic body of work unto itself. Mass Effect 2, I think that we really kind of pushed the envelope a little further in developing thematic concepts for each of the characters, and we worked really. There were so many elements, so many assets involved in that game, and Jack Wall was just really an awesome team leader on that one. But I think that we had developed what we wanted to do in Mass Effect 2 by creating more deeper themes and more deeper involvement. But that being said, you're still limited with the audio engine and the concept of games,
right.
That you really can't explore like you can in a movie. That's just the reality.
Just the development of themes and whatnot.
Yeah, and
as well.
Right, exactly, and I'm sure Josh can talk more about this as well. That we had, because Josh has done games too, and he's done some great work with games, but still, the idea that we could take what was established already in the games and move it, evolve it to the cinema, to a cinematic concept, I think was really mind-blowing for us.
I mean, it's definitely a different headspace working with picture. We definitely wanted to create the whole Mass Effect vibe and keep that there, but also, like David was saying, developing the themes further letting things flesh out more, and it really worked out well I think, with everything.
And Joshua, this was your first kind of venture into that world of Mass Effect, and
Yes.
what was your? I mean, I guess from you guys talking, you wanted to kind of expand that universe. Was that always the goal, to expand musically, or did you want to maybe try something different, independent from the other scores, or or did you want it to be
Um,
as much part of the universe as possible?
we definitely wanted to feel a part of the universe, and
Mm-hmm.
both agreed on that. But also, it's a film. It's a feature-length animated film. It's not a game, and we wanted it to feel like, a big feature animated picture.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely all the very cool '80s electronic elements to this, but there's also a very strong, through line of symphonic sound that adds that breadth and depth to the score that gives it that Hollywood sound, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And how did you guys tackle the project together? Was it more of a shared experience, or did you guys divvy up the workload and tackled it independently?
Yeah, we went through and did a spotting session together, and I think both of us felt strongly about each of us felt strongly about certain cues, and we did divvy up the cues and um, kind of bounce things off each other, uh, sessions back and forth, or MP3s, cues back and forth.
I think also, one of the interesting things about being a film composer is how you approach dramatizing the movie. So
Sure.
as we explored the script, and as we watched the movie that we had, the version that we had, we would decide where we actually wanted to start the movie with our themes. So we didn't necessarily work linearly from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
True. Yeah.
In fact, we started. There were some things we started in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and then Josh actually did some sections earlier on, and we actually sort of met up in reverse order. I came back to where he was, and that
Right.
way because one of our leading dramatic concepts is that wherever you are in a place and time, that piece of music has to represent where you've gone and where you're coming
Right.
to. So in other
Right.
words, if a half an hour into the movie a theme is being stated, then it has to relate somehow in a musically grammatical way to music that you had written earlier, but it has to have evolved. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we took pieces that we did pieces that were very evolved and went backwards and devolved them so that they had
Right.
a sense of
Spectrum.
development.
Yeah.
And the animation is a very long, very painstaking process, and you guys have both worked on video games in the past as well, which is also another painstaking process. How different is the feature animation process from the video game process? Not just like the ultimate goal, but the kind of technical things. How does the composer's role differ or not differ between them?
Um, I'd say video games is definitely scoring a game usually is a little bit of a longer process.
Mm.
I think David can speak to that also. We actually did have a lot of time on this film, which is usually not the case. Um, Being brought on really early with scripts and everything, and seeing animatics, and being able to develop themes, over months and months, and once we got final locked picture, uh, things were able to go pretty smooth because we had a pretty good foundation. Uh,
Yeah, I think the production style of game creating a game with music, uh, sometimes you're never really sure exactly how your music is going to be used.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Uh,
So it'll get split up and cut and
yeah,
yeah.
right. There's always that element of, what exactly am I doing this for? What's the purpose? And there's an abstractness to that.
Sure.
which on one hand has, that has its own kind of element of creativity, wouldn't you say, Josh?
Oh, definitely.
You
I
know?
mean, it's a totally different mindset where you're writing cues that can, especially in interactive scores that can, you can take stuff away and add stuff to the layers to the cue
Right.
that help the user get immersed more into the experience of the game.
Yeah.
Uh,
That being said, there's nothing like there's nothing like being given a finished edited piece of film.
right.
It's like someone giving you a sweet meal on a platter right in front of you. Here, eat. It's like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, because you know exactly what your objective at least is. Now, of
Right.
course, there's a whole other set of thoughts that go through the composer's mind about
Sure.
what I'm doing here. Um, and what my purpose is, and to make sure that we are reaching our objective. But
Right.
there is nothing sweeter than,
Yeah.
and any composer who's working in it I think will certainly agree. Finished edited piece of film is just it's just
It's just like a beautiful canvas to
It's true.
elaborate on and to just go crazy. Your imagination can just go so many different directions. And our objective, I guess, too, with the music for the film was, not scoring this just as a straight action film, very shallow and no depth to it. From very early on, after reading the script, we wanted to speak to the humanity of the characters.
Yeah.
Specifically James Vega, and I think it helped bring a lot of that out in the picture. Stuff that was unsaid, that was told through the music.
Right. And so you were on the project very early on. Did you want to wait till you did have that finished locked picture, or did you guys start toying around with ideas in the pre-production and production phase?
We actually toyed around with. I mean, from this man, we read through the script. I started on a theme. David started on some themes. We wrote kind of like what do you call, like a medley or an overture together.
It was like an overture that was the first stab at what we thought the universe might potentially look like.
Exactly. I mean, this is based off of basically script. I think maybe we had a couple concept art stuff.
Yeah.
But that was it. And we sent that over to the guys at Funimation. They forwarded to
EA, yeah.
BioWare, yeah, EA and BioWare. And, that was like the initial, test, that we passed. It was,
Well, yeah, we were thrilled because Casey Hudson, and Rob Blake at EA heard what we were doing really in the early stages, and it felt that, wow, you guys are like taking this thing to another level. It's another area that the games really weren't able to go because of the limitation of the genre.
Yeah.
Right. And on this film, the director Atsushi Takeuchi, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He's a truly an animation veteran. Did you guys work with him a lot? Did he have any visions about what it should be?
We've never talked with him.
Wow.
We dealt. He's in Japan, and there's also probably the language barrier. But we dealt mostly and pretty much with Funimation, with April Bennett and Chris Mageas. And so we I think that we're bouncing stuff, mostly off of Casey and for BioWare. I think they were pretty much the final sign off on the music cues.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So did they give you kind of a creative direction to go, or did they just give you kind of a blank canvas?
Definitely. They had an animatic they gave us, and it had been tipped with the cues from like Transformers and Batman, a few other different things. But they also did give us some brain, and we looked into other things for inspiration.
We were pretty fortunate, I think, and I've been through actually a lot of television and film projects where there really is a heavy-handedness from the production side on what you
Sure.
do, even a sense of uh, micromanaging the composers. In this particular case, it may have been that our early sketches demonstrated so well what they wanted that by and large we were given pretty much free reign, pretty much I think because they were liking what they were getting,
Yeah.
so they kept empowering us, I think, to
I
just
mean,
go our own way.
we established a confidence. They were just like totally. As we started delivering the actual cues for sure, and they're just like, okay, it was definitely like that. Go ahead, guys. And we were very very fortunate and blessed to have minimal revisions, even on anything. And
I think actually interesting that some of the greatest debate was really between us, not and,
right,
and, and
yeah,
not
yeah,
not argumentative debate, but our discussions had a lot to do not so much with the music, but with dramatic choices. We
sure,
wanted to, and we debated these things of which to go. When do you want to comment about the emotion of something? When do
Right.
you want to have no comment about what you're visualizing? And at certain points in a movie, we wanted to make sure that we hit those marks. And I think in the end, I think, Josh, that the music really is not as important as the drama that the music actually creates.
sure, yeah.
You
It's
know?
whatever coloring or whatever we come up with to accomplish that and to evoke those emotions that you know are unseen and need to be there.
There were only really, I think, really only a couple cues where our clients felt that we might have been off a little bit dramatically. And that
Yeah,
was it. And that was it, you know.
yeah.
Well, I think the final result is quite amazing. I mean, I love the score. I listened through it, and it
Thank you.
it feels like a cohesive voice, and it fits everything, and it flows very nicely. So you guys did a fantastic
Thanks.
job.
Thank you very much.
Um,
I enjoyed it.
but well, to wrap things up, I always like to ask composers this one question: if you had the opportunity to score any film ever made, with no disrespect to the original composer, which film would you want to try?
Jeez.
Oh God! Wow, that's great.
David?
That's a great.
It is a good question. There's more than one. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard.
Uh, there's that's
I'd say most Chris Nolan pictures.
Any
well,
play
I'll go.
any playground you'd want to try to take a play in.
Yeah, I'll take a stab at this, even though I know that there's no way. I mean, there's no way anyone could do a better job. But I would like to try to score Fistful of Dollars.
Oh, amazing! Awesome! I
Wow.
love it.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Um,
That's great.
and of course, then the other one, which is I think my all-time favorite, would be Maurice Jarre's score to Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, man.
There you
Epic.
go. Just a couple of little films like that.
Just Ennio and Maurice Jarre.
Yeah, anything Maurice did. But I'm picking. It's interesting. I'm picking composers that have already made such a signature in that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of
But
course, yeah.
anyway, those are mine.
And so Josh, you just any Christopher Nolan film?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a big fan of his work. Uh,
Okay.
and the just the whole style of it, I think, is really great. Uh, I can't think of really anything else. I mean, I could name a handful. So it could be anywhere from, Predator to an animated picture like Despicable Me.
You would be awesome, Josh, doing Predator. I mean, it's so right up your alley. I mean, I think you would just slaughter that film.
Thank you, sir.
Really.
Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. It was such a pleasure chatting with you and to pick your brains for a little bit. And hopefully we can do this again sometime in the future.